and at different points of your life, then you can try to see how you can offer help as a friend. You don't necessarily have to stay in that relationship to be able to offer help to this person or try to, advise this person. If staying in that relationship you think would make this person change, then you're probably making the wrong decision, because it might get worse even when you get married to this person. So now, before this story of Mariam Sanda came out, a lot of people did not know what was going on in their marriage. In fact, they had a big wedding, an elaborate wedding that was beautiful. People talked about it and all of that. And a few years down the line, nobody knew what the man was doing to her. It was when she stabbed her husband and when she stabbed him to death, and the story broke out. People began to say all sorts of things. So she had to come out to tell her own side of the story, that this person has been abusing me emotionally. But then there's a level you get, because these things we're talking about, they're actually emotions.
Yes.
There's a level you get that you can't take it anymore. He probably was even abusing her physically before she stabbed him in her own defense. But now nobody is listening to you. Nobody is,
because now they've seen you, they're seeing you as a murderer.
You're not seen as a murderer, and you're going to be facing the punishment of a murderer. Now you've been sentenced to death. She has a child, which is, I do not want to even imagine what exactly that child would go through. Like, this is a traumatic experience. Already the father is dead. Now the mother has been sentenced to death. If that child gets to hear this kind of story, knowing that it's even a story that broke out on social media, a lot of people are talking about it and all of that, it's going to affect the child one way or the other, psychologically, emotionally. So me pointing Mariam's case as an example is to tell you the length at which unhealthy relationships can actually mar you. I mean, don't get it wrong. We have people who have been in long-term relationship and it worked out. Yes, in fact, it gave them enough time to study their personalities, gave them enough time to understand each other and be very good friends before getting married. But however, let's not forget that we also have relationships that are long-term and are also unhealthy and are bad. And please, another thing that goes wrong is because of how people, judge
societal
pressure. Without understanding their situations, or understanding what they are also going through. If you see someone who has been in a relationship for 10 years, 15 years, and the person is making a decision to leave, right? You should not nail that person on the cross and make the person feel less of themselves for wanting to leave the relationship. And please, on the other hand, do not, never let what people would say get to you. Because guess what? Either good or bad, people would always talk.
True.
If you stay in the relationship and you keep fighting for your partner to change, you keep fighting to have a healthy relationship when it's clear that it's not. At the end of the day, if something goes wrong or you probably die out of abuse and all of that, people would still come out to say, why did you not leave the relationship?
Why didn't she leave?
And if you also try to leave the relationship, people would still talk and say, oh, okay, so after all the years, after all the money he has spent on you, you want to leave. So once you have that mentality that no matter what you do, people would still talk and would still say something, a lot of times, people don't like to mind their businesses. So if you have that mentality, do what is right and what is best for you, basically. But the major key thing this morning is try not to ignore red flags in relationship. No matter what, you would see them. Nobody should come out and say, oh, okay, so the red flag was hidden. No matter, even if the person you're in a relationship with is a pretender, the person would still show themselves one day.
Just pause on that. So we have a caller on the line, Tola from Ibadan. Hello, good morning, Tola.
Hello.
Good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
All right, I think Tola should try to call us back and let...
hello?
Okay, hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you doing?
Hi,
Very
good
well.
morning. Thank you for calling on the show.
Yes, thank you. This conversation is actually very important because I feel like people stay in relationships and they are not aware of what it's actually doing to them.
Okay.
You know, and I feel like also trauma bonds people together. You know, like when two people have been through very
Some
terrible
traumatic experiences, yeah.
or even great experiences, you know, experiences bring people together, whether good or bad.
Or
So these
bad.
are kind of the things that make relationships, unhealthy relationships last long. And also, when you're used to a person, like, you know, like I'm dating a toxic woman.
Hello?
I don't know, it just doesn't really make sense for me to leave. So I think these are some of the reasons. But I feel like people need to understand what unhealthy relationships does to their mental side.
Yes.
You know, basically.
All right.
All
Thank
right,
you
thank
very
you,
much
Tola.
for calling to share your opinion.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Definitely, he has a point
Yeah.
in saying that when you see someone who has been through the same experience with you, you just
There's this connection you feel.
and bond you feel, and it just makes you feel comfortable within that experience. And to be honest, that's another thing that people don't know. When somebody has been through a traumatic experience, right, and it's that kind of person you meet for advice, you probably get the wrong advice.
I'm telling you.
Because they would want to advise you based on what they have been through. And maybe because they do not want to be alone in that and they're looking for other people to join them in that, then they would advise you wrongly,
Yes.
intentionally, which is very bad and very wrong. If you're going to seek advice from people, I think you should try to seek advice from someone who you've seen, like you've seen that it worked for them. Them being in that long-term relationship worked for them, even down to marriage and even down to the point that they had children and everything still runs smoothly. Those kind of people might be able to give you a good advice. So the kind of person you run to or you meet
The source.
also determines the decision you make in living an unhealthy relationship.
You know,
basically.
most of the time we say experience is the best teacher, and if you know, you want to learn from something, meet someone that has gone through that same experience. But we know that that is not often the case. It's not every time that, you know, your experiences is the best teacher. But I'll pause on that because we have another caller on the line, Ada from Lagos. Hello, good morning, Ada.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, so we're
How
talking...
are you?
I'm very well.
Fine.
We're very well. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so we are talking about unhealthy relationship, and honestly, we're just asking people, why do you feel, you know, unhealthy relationship lasts? What do you think, Ada?
I think it's fear. The fear of being alone, I think. And for some other people, I think it's just being used to a bad habit.
Yeah, okay.
You know, you just talk and you've been doing it for years and years, and you don't even know that you are a victim. You just feel that that is life, that's normal life. You don't know that there's another life somewhere else. So it lasts because some people don't know that, you know, they are in this bad situation. They just feel this is life and they've accepted it already.
Thank you
Thank you so much,
for calling,
Ada.
Ada. Have a lovely day.
You too. Bye.
So basically,
That just reminded me of people who do not even know that the relationship they are in is unhealthy for them. And in the sense that maybe growing up, for instance, you've seen your dad do that to your mom, or you grew up with that particular experience. I've seen people who would tell you that, or if my partner doesn't tell me I am stupid, or my partner doesn't tell me shut up, or my partner doesn't hit me, then he's pretending.
or that relationship
Or
is
that
not...
relationship is not
as,
as
you know,
good as I think it should be. And for those kind of people, for them to have made that kind of decision, it means that
They're
they
just
must
used to
have been
toxic
through it and
people.
it has become a part
A
of them.
thing.
So they've seen it as a normal thing. They've seen it as something like good For instance, someone who grew up in a home or in a family where emotional abuse was a thing, or domestic abuse was a thing, then domestic violence was a thing, then that kind of person going into a relationship will go in with that same mindset that, okay, you know what, no matter what my partner does to me, as long as my mom did not leave my dad, I am also not leaving this relationship. I mean, we're going to stay here forever. Even when it is affecting you, still feel it's a good thing. But we have Bukola from Ogun State. Hello, Bukola. Good morning.
Hi, ladies. Good morning.
Good morning. How are
Thank you
you?
for joining us on the show.
Very well, thank you.
All right. So we're talking about unhealthy relationships this morning, and we're asking people, why do you feel, unhealthy relationship last? What do you think, Bukola?
Okay, for me, I think perhaps the benefits involved. Perhaps one person is getting some benefit.
Okay.
And he or she is afraid that if I leave, I may not be able to get this benefit again. So maybe benefit, maybe fear, maybe loneliness that even if I leave, what if I don't get this person as good as this? Although the person I have some, I think I'll that's the mistake that you change there. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much,
for
Bukola.
calling, Bukola. Have a good day.
I think I like the angle she came from. When you're, to me, I would tag it as you being greedy. Greed will not allow some people to see past, their eyes. So when you see that you're gaining some things, from a certain, even if this person is toxic, this person beats you, this person abuses you, this person does everything to you. But because at the same time, this person also buys you flashy cars, gives you money, helps you, you might actually find it very, very difficult to leave that relationship. And left for me, honestly, I feel it is greed. Because what you're getting from a relationship should not define how you stay in that relationship, provided that what you're getting is not improving your life in any way. If it is not something that is making you as an individual a better person, if it is not something that is making you as an individual be a good person in a relationship, then I see no reason as to why you're in that relationship. But because of the material things that you're getting, you would rather stay in that relationship and suffer than that kind of people will. I don't used to feel.
But you know, there are some relationships that it is making you a better person, but it's not making your partner a better person.
The moment you are the receiver, Wura, the moment you are always the one receiving, even if, so it's like this, that your partner is toxic. The toxic behavior is affecting you, but you cannot talk because of the things you're getting from this toxic partner. Then you'd often realize that both partners, you and your partner, you people will be toxic. And whether your partner is improving or not, or whether what's the little, definitely if it's helping you, giving you money, giving you car, somehow your financial capacity or your financial ability, it's kind of like stable, right? Because you have all of these things. But it does not mean that you're a good person, and it does not mean that you're impacting your partner's life, or your partner is even impacting you in any positive way. Just because of material things does not actually make that relationship any better from what it is. Do you understand? So the material things, I just believe, does not define how good a relationship is. What defines a relationship is how both of you can, impact each other's life positively. Do you understand? Without any form of toxic behavior coming into play. Impact, I would say, positive impact, I would say, in every relationship is very key. And how you choose to go about it anyways, it's up to you. But basically, it has to be, do you understand? There has to be a positive impact. If there is no positive impact, I don't see where that relationship is going.
So you have to be careful not to be the toxic one in the relationship.
True.
As much as we are saying that, don't be in a relationship with a partner who is toxic, you also have to make
sure that you're not toxic.
You are not toxic, because I've seen relationships whereby the other person, talking about material
things,
there are some people who would like their partner is not entirely rich or comfortable, but because you just don't want this person to leave you, you keep spending and spending. You don't even have any savings or investment on your own path. All of the money you get, even sometimes you go to the extreme end of borrowing just to satisfy this person and make this person happy. And you as the partner, you know that this person is actually overstretching to meet your needs, but you still go ahead to keep asking. Then be sure that you probably would end up being the toxic one in that relationship. If all you do is emotionally blackmail your partner every time or make them feel certain way, or you realize that all of the vibe you bring on table always are negative vibes, then you probably might end up being the toxic one. So to wrap up this conversation, make sure you are not in an unhealthy relationship, and make sure that you're not with a partner who would be of negative influence to you. And don't also be the one who would be of negative influence to your partner. I mean, relationships are... Talking about romantic relationships now, these are what leads to marriage. And marriage leads to family. And family leads to our society. So it's a circle. It goes round and round like that. And we need to start the conversation from the root and from the foundation, which is the relationship. When we have healthy and good relationships, then we can talk about having good marriages. Then we can talk about having good families. Then we can now talk about having a palatable society where everybody can live in peace and in one accord. I actually feel very bad for Miriam Sanda, knowing that she would have to face, she'd have to face the wrath of the law against whatever effort she tries to make.
The punishment is death.
Yes, she's been sentenced to death by the court. And all I can just hope for is that we do not have cases like this repeat themselves. And the only way we can avoid cases like this is for you to actually stay out of unhealthy relationship, no matter how long it has lasted for.
So basically, that's it. I also wanted to contribute before we wrap this up. So for the last scenario you painted of if your partner continues to ask you, I would like to paint that on low self-esteem, because maybe a part of you feels like, I don't want to lose this, my partner, she's so beautiful, she'll do this. What is the guarantee that I will see someone else like her? That is low self-esteem. And if you can develop your self-esteem, no matter how good you feel your partner is, the moment they are not doing something that does not sit well with you, you should be able to speak up in that relationship. Relationships, it's not a prison, really. I feel like some of us, we treat it like a prison. It's not a prison. You should be able to talk, you know, say what's in your mind. Let your partner know how you feel, what they are doing, what you think that, you know, they are doing that does not sit well with you, what they are doing that you like, what they are not doing. Just basically speak up, because the moment low self-esteem enters into that relationship, then there is going to be a problem and there will be no balance in that relationship. Also, fear of what your partner knows about you might actually still keep you in that relationship. I don't know, say if I've been sharing some photos you're not supposed to be sharing, and you know that is also a toxic person. If you're dating someone that would always ask you to send pictures, send this, send your nudes, you should actually check that relationship, because I do not feel like that is good enough reason that you should even send your picture. Because of your dating does not mean your partner should be entitled to, you know, seeing your naked body and all of that. And maybe because that has been happening in the relationship, you feel like if you leave the relationship, your partner might start exposing, you know, that picture on the net and something like that. Exactly, that's blackmail too. So that might actually be another reason as to why people stay in an unhealthy relationship. So basically, these are the reasons why, you know, we believe people stay in an unhealthy relationship. If you have your own reasons, other reasons you feel like, okay, you know what, this is the reason as to why I feel I'm still in this relationship. Basically, you can still work on yourself. It is never too late, and you can still always leave that relationship.